Hello again, my friends. It has been a very long time. Here we are on April 13. See, even I've lost count of the days. April 13, 2024. Well, let me just recap that after our last video, I got sick, and I was sick for about 3 weeks with a bad cold. It was okay. It wasn't COVID or anything like that or any dread disease. I just had a bad cold and I couldn't shake it. And then I got busy, and I will try to show you. We're in my gazebo, and this is my garden. And we have done a lot. I actually planted several seeds and some potatoes and some sunflowers. I've got about 10 of them coming up and 3 or 4 volunteers from last year. Well, I planted 13, I seeded 13 Mr. Stripey tomato plants. And, I only meant to do 12, but an extra seed got in, so I had twins. So I had 13 tomato plants, and we put them out thinking, we'd had nice weather and it's been good, and we'll get a jump on gardening early. We'll get tomatoes before July. Well, we got some frost, and that took out one. I think a squirrel took out another one, and cold weather took out another. So I've lost 3. So I'm down to 10. I have a lot more in the house. In fact, I'm out of space in the garden, and I haven't even planted my cucumbers. I've got corn and green beans and, of course, tomatoes. I made some really good salsa last year, and so I wanted to make some more of that. And I did want to make some more pickles, and I just have a lot in there. We put peas in there this year. Last year it was just in an extra pot. And so everything, we got some extra bins for spinach and beets, and that stuff is coming up. I don't know if you can see it. Well, over there, the blue barrels, I've got 2 of them. They used to be my parents', and they're not much into gardening anymore. They're not able to do that. There was an episode with my dad. He's at home now, though. I'm in a little stint in the hospital and some rehabilitation, I guess. They send you to that rehabilitation, but I'm not sure that they did much. But anyway, he's at home. He's okay. And so I haven't been on here to read anything. Well, somebody gave me a gift card not long after Christmas, and it was a Barnes & Noble's gift card, and I like books. I have a lot of books. And we went down there, and I got this book. They had a movie come out, Lyle, Crocodile. They had a movie come out where he didn't talk, but he could sing. And so I went down there, and this is one of the things I bought. I also bought a crochet kit and a really expensive pen, and this other book about King Arthur and his knights, but that's a fat book. It's chapters, so I don't know if I would ever get to read it on here. I usually just do little books. But we've been down to the Samaritan Centers a couple of times. The Samaritan Center, I should say. We've been getting more records. If you like records, they still make records, They think they're getting rid of old technology. But since I'm coming back from such a long trek, a long time away, I thought I'd be out here in my gazebo. I'm hoping my phone doesn't fall. I don't have the little stand I usually put it on, so I have it propped up on books and with a basket. So I thought I'd read you this book, Lyle, Crocodile. It is a board book, so the pages are a little bit fatter, but we actually have a friend named Lyle, so this is what makes it even funnier, by Bernard Waber. And they had a movie come out not too many years ago where he couldn't talk, but he could sing. And so I'm going to read you this book now, and I'm glad to be back after all this time. It says, "For Gary" on the cover. Here's the picture. It's of those houses in like a city. "This is the house on East 88th Street. Mr. and Mrs. Prim and their son Joshua live here. Someone else lives here too. Listen. Swish, swash, splash, swoosh. Here's the Primm is their last name. What do you think that noise is? It's Lyle. Lyle the crocodile. And he is taking a bath. This is called a pedestal sink. They tried to give us one when we were moving in here, and we asked for one with the cupboard, so I keep my cleaning supplies and extra soap under there. We don't have a clawfoot tub, but Lyle does. Lyle was very happy living with the Primm family. Look, he even sits at the dinner table. He was especially happy when he was being useful. Helping Joshua with homework was a favorite job. He's doing the additions, and the parents are playing checkers or chess. Could be chess. But if Lyle was happy, just 2 doors down lived some neighbors who were not. Mr. Grump's cat Loretta was scared of Lyle. Even a glimpse of him caused her to shake with fright. There's Loretta. What a name for a cat. Lyle gave Loretta his biggest, friendliest smile to show her what a nice crocodile he was. But at the sight of his big teeth, Loretta only shook even harder. You know, when cats hump up like that, they usually go, you know, they're making that hissing noise, trying to make themselves look bigger than they are. To take his mind off his troubles with Loretta and Mr. Grumps, Lyle filled his days playing with Joshua and his friends. He loved being it. Hide and seek. The children loved watching Lyle do tricks. Lyle could do handstands and backflips, and he could jump. Everyone knew how high Lyle could jump. Almost everyone. There's Loretta. See, he's jumping over the gate, the little fencing. A badly frightened Loretta scampered to the top of the nearest tree. Mr. Grumps had to coax her down. It looks like he had to climb a ladder and pull her down. Something has to be done about that crocodile, yelled Mr. Grumps. Here's Mr. Grumps, and here's where Lyle lives. For the next few days, Mrs. Primm thought it best to keep Lyle close at her side. They're baking cookies together. On sunny days, they took lunch to the park, packing a little extra for the birds. Now they're having a little picnic lunch. Lyle was always one for sharing. We used to visit this park, and I like to feed the ducks. I used to save bread for the ducks. In fact, I've saved some bread crust that fell off my bread, let it rise too high, and we'd save it and take it for the ducks. One day, Mrs. Primm and Lyle went shopping downtown. All went well until a voice boomed out, "Attention, shoppers, there's a fantastic sale in pajamas." Lyle was quickly swept up in the crowd. He's wearing a scarf. He looks like he's in a bit of a conga line. At the sale, Lyle had a big surprise. There was his old friend, Hector B. Valenti, star of stage and screen, busy at his new job selling pajamas. Hector and Lyle had danced on stages all over the world. It couldn't hurt to show the crowd a little of their old act. Could it? More, cheered the shoppers. They had forgotten all about needing pajamas. Stop, roared Mr. Grumps, who turned out to have a very important job at the store. There they are dancing. Madam, Mr. Grumps shouted, we do not permit crocodiles here. Remove him at once. Your crocodile belongs in the zoo, and I am going to make sure he is sent there. Whatever would Lyle do in a zoo? Mrs. Primm wondered as she and Lyle sadly left the store. It had to be Mr. Grumps, didn't it? That night, Lyle tossed and turned, full of worries about life in the zoo. Suddenly, he smelled smoke. It was coming from Mr. Grumps' house. Quickly, Lyle broke in and rescued a frightened Mr. Grumps and Loretta. He looks like he's kind of sick, and the cat's that way too. Their tongues sticking out. They didn't have enough oxygen to breathe. Fire takes all the oxygen and burns it up. It's very destructive. All the neighbors cheered as they watched the heroic rescue. Mr. Grumps turned to Lyle. Lyle, I was wrong, and I am sorry. You are the bravest, most wonderful crocodile in the world. You belong right here on East 88th Street. Yeah, there's Mr. Grumps and Loretta. There's the firefighters trying to put out the rest of it. Several days later, the Prims had a small party. It was a wonderful evening. Everyone was happy to see Lyle smiling his big smile again. See, they have Mr. Grumps over and their Mr. Valenti. Remember, he was dancing back here with Lyle. He's the one with the mustache. Even Loretta. My cats have used to do that. I used to talk to them, and she'd put her paw up on my mouth like they're doing to Lyle. Anyway, I have missed reading, and I've just been so busy after I got better. But I'm okay. Everything's good. I thought being out here in the gazebo would be a nice change, and if you hear a buzzing, it's not a hearing aid or anything. It's squirrel repellents. We have no trees in this yard, and yet the squirrels come over here. If I was a squirrel, I'd want to be up a tree. But I hope you enjoyed Lyle, Crocodile. I hope to be back sharing some more stories pretty soon. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in another video. Thank you very much. Bye.